In the House of Commons, newly elected Labour MP Markus Campbell-Savours surprised many by openly criticising the proposed inheritance tax policy targeting farmers, a measure being pursued by his own party. In a passionate speech, he argued that Labour had turned its back on voters by reneging on a key campaign pledge, a pledge to reject policies of this very nature. His blunt and scathing remarks sparked a heated debate in Parliament as he publicly challenged his party, demanding accountability for broken promises and calling for a defence of farmers' rights. Let's take a closer look at this headline-grabbing speech and examine how the public and political establishment have reacted. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Markus Campbell-Savours. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I've spent the last few weeks speaking with farmers in Penrith and Solway, trying to understand the full impact of the inheritance tax proposals, knowing that I have months left to engage DEFRA and the Treasury and seek important amendments. And let me be clear, if today was the real vote, I would vote against the government's plans. I'm no rebel, I'm a moderate. But during the election, I read what I thought were assurances from my party that we had no plans to introduce changes to APR. On this basis, I reassured farmers in my constituency that we would not. Now, I simply am not prepared to break my word. I'm told that there is no Labour MP in the country with as many farms as I do in Penrith and Solway, and I hope my colleagues will understand my feelings on this, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can I commend my near neighbour, the member for Penrith and Solway, on his very brave contribution? It's very hard to come to this chamber and tell the truth when the pressure from the whips and the party is to defend the government at all costs. And he made it absolutely clear that this measure will have a devastating effect on farms and the farming industry in his constituency if it goes through as currently set out. Markus Campbell-Savours is fast emerging as a prominent and provocative figure within the Labour Party. After his blunt rejection of the newly proposed inheritance tax on farmers, in a forthright speech delivered in the House of Commons, he voiced strong opposition to the policy and declared he would not hesitate to vote against it if it were brought forward immediately. The move exposed clear divisions within party ranks and highlighted an uncomfortable truth. Labour is not honouring the promises it made to voters during the election campaign. His revelation that he had previously reassured farmers in his constituency that no changes would be made to inheritance tax has only worsened the party's image. It revealed a public breach of trust and raised serious questions about the transparency of the party's commitments. His defiance has not only placed him at odds with the leadership but has also subjected Labour to growing public scrutiny. While others in the party scramble to defend the government's position at all costs, his resistance strikes as a direct challenge to the party's internal authority. Unsurprisingly, political opponents such as David Mundell were quick to seize the moment, praising Markus's courage while using it to criticise Labour's broader agenda. Although Markus's actions may stem from a genuine belief in fairness, they have become political ammunition for the opposition and fueled public doubts over unity within Labour. Realistically, his speech could be seen as a self-inflicted political wound. By openly breaking ranks, he has not only shaken trust among his parliamentary colleagues, but also unsettled voters who are looking for stability and policy clarity in today's turbulent climate. Such a move could be interpreted as a strategic misstep, one that risks damaging his own political future while further tarnishing Labour's public image. Dissent like this, however principled, risks being seen as a critical vulnerability at a time when party unity is more crucial than ever. Turning to another significant political development, Reform UK has marked a major milestone in Wales. Michelle Beer has made history by becoming the first Reform UK representative elected to Cambridgeshire County Council after a decisive by-election victory in the Leedy ward. She beat 7 other candidates, securing 568 votes, well ahead of her closest rival, Labour's Andrew Bregoli, who received just 312. The by-election was triggered by the departure of Anthony Leashon, a non-affiliated independent councillor. The result reflects a growing wave of change across Wales, particularly in areas traditionally regarded as strongholds of the mainstream parties. Michelle Beer stated that her campaign was fueled by a rising sense of frustration among local residents, who feel their voices have been ignored. According to her, many constituents expressed deep disappointment at being overlooked time and again by politicians at both local and national levels. If you're one of the 95% of viewers who haven't subscribed, yet now's the time. A single free click helps sustain the channel and amplify the voice of the community. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a future update. This victory came from a grassroots strategy. Michelle Beer went door to door, listening to and responding to the real concerns of voters, such as poor public services and a lack of communication from the council. At just 47 years old, this is her first foray into elected politics, but she is far from new to community leadership. She previously worked with a local council in New Zealand and has helped run the family business. She also provides strong support for her husband Gareth Beer, who came second in the last general election in the same area. Though currently living in Kidwelly, Michelle was born and raised in Llanelli, a place she still proudly calls home. Her regular presence in the town has given her a close understanding of the community's everyday struggles. Michelle has pledged to focus on practical issues such as pothole repairs, timely waste collection, and the upgrading of basic services. She has also criticized recent council tax increases, calling for an end to wasteful spending and demanding genuine value in public procurement instead of cutting the essential services people actually rely on. Michelle Beer's victory delivers a crucial boost to Nigel Farage, who has watched his party steadily gain ground in Wales over the past year. Farage had previously called for the scrapping of diversity and inclusion officer roles in local councils. While Michelle Beer has not publicly endorsed that stance, she has suggested that such changes could well be part of a broader reform agenda, if the party continues expanding its influence in the run-up to 2027. Meanwhile, Andrew Bragoli has accepted the result and offered his congratulations to Michelle Beer. He attributed part of his defeat to Labour's controversial policies, particularly the handling of the winter fuel support scheme. Although Prime Minister Keir Starmer attempted to salvage the situation by raising the support threshold, Bragoli argued that the political damage had already been done and could not be swiftly repaired. Now representing the Leedy ward alongside Rob James, an independent councillor unaffiliated with any party, Michelle Beer is quickly becoming a standout figure in Reform UK's growing momentum in Wales. She doesn't rely on abstract political theory, but instead focuses on addressing the everyday frustrations of local residents. With Reform UK notching up clear wins in Bridgend and Trefane, the movement led by Nigel Farage is beginning to redraw the political map in parts of Wales once seen as firm territory for the traditional parties. Michelle Beer's victory may well be the first sign of a political shift quietly reshaping the landscape, one that the establishment simply did not see coming. Now let's turn to another development. Minister Jess Phillips has found herself in an awkward position after being publicly criticised by the Deputy Speaker, who accused the Labour Party of hypocrisy in its policy positions. The blunt remarks have sparked renewed questions about the credibility and consistency Labour is striving to project. Before I call the Minister to make a statement, I am sorry once again to have to remind ministers of the requirement that major new policy announcements should be made in this House in the first instance, and not to the media. This afternoon's statement has already been the subject of very extensive coverage in the print and broadcast media. Honourable and right honourable members on the government benches were quick to criticise ministers in the previous government for this kind of behaviour. Mr. Speaker has made it clear that he intends to hold them to the same high standard now that they are in government. The Home Office seems to have a particular problem with making media announcements before ministers come to make statements to the House. Mr. Speaker will be writing to the Prime Minister to remind him of the rules. I would also remind the Home Secretary that it is open to Mr. Speaker to grant an urgent question on any subject on any day. Minister Jess Phillips. First and foremost, I must, I apologize on behalf of myself and the government. And I I am sure that her words today, through Mr. Speaker, have been heard by all. The Deputy.
Speaker's stern rebuke of the government over a serious procedural breach marks yet another troubling dissent in the way the current administration discharges its responsibilities.
Once again, ministers have shown disregard for the vital principle that major policy changes must first be presented in Parliament before being leaked to the press. This behaviour not only undermines transparency within parliamentary proceed,